Okay guys, this is going to be a twofold video. One, a follow-up from the North Korean deal, which everybody really should be paying attention to. If you're at all concerned about America and how things are going, really need to start watching and following this. Just some info that you may or may not know, but in September 1950, the United Nations force, led by the United States, intervened to defend South Korea, which lasted until the signing of an armistice on July 27, 1953. Since then, there's no peace treaty ever signed, which means that Korean War is not officially ended. Since 1950, we have technically been at war with North Korea with a ceasefire only going on. Now that armistice had a lot of, there's a lot of stuff that we and they are not supposed to do, we can and cannot do, and so forth. And if you ever, if you're really interested, it's a lot of politics, but you can brief through it and get a lot of good info. The armistice was designed to, quote, ensure a complete cessation of hostilities and of all acts of armed force in Korea until the final peace settlement is achieved, which, again, has never happened. North Korea has announced that it will no longer abide by the armistice at least 6 times in the years 1994, 96, 2003, 06, 09, and 2013. The United States position has expressed in 2010. Our position, as expressed in 2010, is that a peace treaty can only be negotiated when North Korea, quote, takes irreversible steps toward denuclearization. In other words, it has got to quit taking and quit dealing with the nukes. And that's not going to happen. Obviously, in the past, and as you're reading and watching the news, that's just not going to happen. North Korea believes the annual U.S. and South Korean exercises are I can't even say that word, but threatening North Korea with nuclear weapons. Provocative is what I'm trying to say. I served in the Marines, as you may or may not know, and then in 1977, one of the Operation Team Spirit, where we went in and with multi-force, about 2,000 plus of us, went in and trained the North Korean and South Korean rather. We trained the South Koreans, Rock Marines. I've got I've got one of their emblems someplace. We traded emblems. That's a thing that a lot of military do, or I did in my time. I gave them one of my EGA, my Eagle, Globe, and Anchor, and they gave me one of their emblems, the Rock Marines. Really nice people. Unfortunately, at that time, and you won't hear it in the news, we lost a couple of hundred Rock Marines. Nobody asked them if they could swim, and we did some. We were doing some water ops, and they drowned. It was a terrible, sick problem, but that happens in training at time, and that's one thing that you'll probably never see in the news. But in In August 2016, North Korea installed an anti-personnel mines to prevent potential defectors of its frontline border guards around the bridge of no return, which you'll see emulated a lot in a lot of movies, and Rainbow. Some people call him Rambo. I call him Rainbow. He's a big chicken. No, I'm sorry. I didn't mean that. Just wipe that out. I have my reasons. Situated in the Joint Security Area, the UN command has protested this move as it violates the armistice agreement, which specifically prohibits armed guards and anti-personnel mines. They're basically just not supposed to have any of this stuff that they are having, and they're just... At the end of World War II, Japan signed a paper stating that they were not to have any militia. They could not have anything more than a police force. What police force is required to have aircraft carriers and submarines? Just a side note. North Korea has built up their armed forces to the point where every man, woman, and most children are military and have some type of training and are specifically out to reach out and touch America. It's a bad thing, my friends. It's a bad, bad thing. And if they do, I am telling you right now, I've said this for many years, now the proof is happening. But if Korea, not if, but when Korea attacks, they'll not be alone. You best be prepared. It's going to take a lot more than this, which I have, but I'm just saying. It's going to take a lot more than that to be ready. Our armed forces are the best in the world. We have the best trained and the best equipment and men and women that you could ever hope for. But I'm afraid it's just not going to be enough. They're going to hit here at home where we are. So you need to be prepared. I'm not trying to scare. Don't take this. It's not a scare tactic. Okay. I'm out to help. This is a video I'm going to show you here in a minute. This is not mine. I didn't make this video. I have no affiliation with it. I'm not making any money. I don't want to make any money off of it. I'm not trying to do anything. It's a video that I found that tells both good and bad of our preparations, what is going on with North Korea, how they're doing things, how our own government doesn't believe that we're prepared for it. So, some say we are, some say we aren't, some say the stuff works, some say it doesn't. To me, that says we're not prepared. So, if you would watch this video here, it's just a couple of minutes long, and see what you think.
North Korea has released a propaganda video which shows the White House as the target of a simulated attack. The nearly 2.5-minute clip starts off with images of missiles rising to launch and then shows a screen with the White House and aircraft carriers behind superimposed crosshairs. Activity ensues, with soldiers getting deployed and missiles being launched, and the video culminates in a fireball explosion with the U.S. Capitol building getting decimated. According to the Telegraph, it ends with a warning, the moment when the enemy kicks off aggression and provocations. The video was released during a time of high tension between the U.S. and North Korea. As the Asian country talks about continuing its missile exercises, the U.S. has threatened to institute more economic sanctions and deploy a South Korea-based missile defense system.
Anywhere. Okay. So, in case, now, this is something that I found out too. Some people don't even know where North Korea is. Here's a map I wanted to show. You can see to the left here, right here. This is China. This is Japan. Now, during the war, China invaded and was out. Japan invaded and was out, kicked out. And North Korea, well, then it was Korea. North Korea decided they were big and bad and jumped down here on the little guys down in South Korea, and then everybody came in, and the United Nations and America and all came in to help, and we had that police action. Really, so that's what most people call it. Anyway, I just had a couple. I know we just buried a Marine that was there in that police action. Wouldn't talk about it. Didn't blame him. Anyway, that leads me to part 2. I've had a number of questions that have been asking about, tell me, well, about veterans and problems and who can help and where do we go for help and so forth. It was, let me see here if I can find my way. Last was Ed and Deb. They was talking about their uncle, or I believe it was, I don't know who, it was Ed or Deb. Was talking about their uncle who had served in Vietnam, at least 3 tours, and the man got 3 to 4 Purple Hearts. 1 is bad enough, but getting 3 or 4 Purple Hearts, my goodness, the man is a hero. In my eyes, if he's not in your eyes, then something's wrong. That man is a hero, and they're telling me that he had some, let's say, say mental issues, the best that I can say, and he's had some problems. They were actually trying to help me out and saying things, and I thanked him for it. That was really nice of that. But in the interim, I had mentioned that Wikipedia actually lists no less than 49 American veteran organizations. If you go, and I keep saying Google, you can do whatever, whomever, I just happen to Google, because I have a Google account and it's just easier for me. But if you Google veteran associations, you will find, let me see, so here is the list of organizations through Wikipedia, a directory of groups. There's one, you can find, let's see here, how to pick a military veteran organization. There's just so many. I found 51 various organizations. There's just a lot of help out there. If you know, here's a list of them with Veterans of Foreign Wars, American Legion, United States Department of Veterans Affairs, Disabled American Veterans, AMVETS. And you don't have to join these groups specifically. You can, and they help you, and they give you a lot of help in doing other things. You don't have to necessarily join up. They have an annual fee. Most of them have an annual fee that you would pay and so forth. But that's not necessary. These guys, for instance, one time as a pedestrian, I got run over by 2 cars. Fun times, right? Well, Veterans of Foreign Wars loaned me a wheelchair. Well, when I got out of intensive care in the hospital, they just said, here, use this wheelchair as long as you need it. And of course, I cleaned it up after and gave it back to him and all. But that was a big help. I couldn't afford to buy a wheelchair. I wasn't going to get a wheelchair. The insurance wasn't paying anything, so they just let me use one. I had my father-in-law, or stepfather rather, at the time, contacted him, and he was in the Navy, and he belonged to a lot of these groups. Military of Purple Heart, that's specifically for people who receive, men and women who receive the Purple Heart. If you don't know what a Purple Heart is, that is a medal or an award. I don't know if you can get awarded it, but a medal that is given to an individual in combat, wounded in combat. You don't stub your nail or get a hang nail or splinter to get these. You get some serious injuries. You don't have to lose a bodily part, but being shot and stabbed and so forth. And you get injured in combat, and you will receive this, and rightly so. So the Vietnam veterans, Paralyzed Veterans of America, Veteran Benefit Administration. There's just, goes on and on here for 50. At least, like I said, I counted 51 of them. But anyway, there's plenty of places for a veteran to, whether it be World War II. I don't know that there's any World War I vets left. I personally know a number of World War II vets, or Iraq or Afghanistan, wherever that they fought, Korea, American-Spanish War, if there's any left. There's plenty of places around to get these veterans help. The key here is, it is our duty as an American citizen to see that these people get help. Now, you can't help everybody. I understand that. There are a few guys and women that refuse help. They don't want help. They prefer to be alone. I know a retired colonel, Marine Corps colonel, that does not want to have anybody around, doesn't want to be talking to. He talks to me, and we have a brotherhood thing going, but he doesn't want a lot of people around because he doesn't want those things to come back up. It's like, if you've never been in the service and combat, it's like being rubbing an old sore. It's breaking open an injury again. Rubbing salt in a wound. It's just bringing it over and over again. A lot of people just rather forget it. They just rather leave it alone. But there are some that would accept and love to help, or have the help that we as American citizens can give them. So if you don't know how, let me know. I will get somebody in that area, where I don't care, anywhere in the United States. I'll find somebody that will go reach out and take care of them. But it's easy to do. Just Google the info, find it for yourself. It is our duty, ladies and gentlemen. Please help these veterans. It's just, I can't tell you. I can't express how hard it is to be homeless. Took 2.5 years after I got out of the service to find a job. Nobody would hire me. Thank me. Oh, thank you for your service. Great. I was told by McDonald's that I was overqualified. I was overqualified. I said, I will clean your toilets. I don't care. I want a job. And McDonald's says that I was overqualified and tried to pass me off with some hamburgers and give me some free food and stuff. That's not what I wanted. I didn't want anything free. At times here, just a little while ago, I was joking with somebody. They were giving away or doing something with a metal detector, and they dropped it. Oh, big deal, so it was dropped. Didn't hurt anything. So I joked that they should, give it, since they don't want it. It's broken. It's no good anymore. Give it to me. And somebody said, "Oh, there, there you go, asking for free things." No, that wasn't the point of that. We don't want free. We want freedom. And the help is out here to help people now that get out of the service and can't find a job. One time I was volunteering at a bank, food bank, and once a month we brought everybody in and fed them, and put them down at tables. We put down tablecloths, and it was like a restaurant. And these people just, they hugged us. They appreciated it so much that somebody would care to do these kinds of things for them. And what broke my heart at times were to see the little children, the mothers that had either was kicked out because the family didn't want them anymore or something. But there was a Marine, a 21-year-old Marine, and a 22-year-old sailor that had gotten out, been out for 6 or 8 months at the time. Didn't have any work. They were living on the street, protecting each other, and thanked me so much for the plate of food and drink that they were getting, the hot food. I helped. I showed them. I told them, yeah, I went through all that. But, there's so many of them out there that we can help. So, I'm sorry I get a little emotional about this stuff, but I just can't see. I can't stand people in need. All the homeless and with the empty houses that we have. All the billions that we have to spend on missiles to protect us, but yet there are children going hungry. There's a place for them. There is a place. So, all right, I'm not going to, as Dalton says, waffle, waffle. I don't know what that means, but I guess it means not to continue to carry on like this. But that's my two points. One, we really need to watch out. Okay, be real careful of what's happening. Watching the news. Be prepared. Okay, just don't get scared. It's not a scary thing. But the world is bringing it to us. Why do we go to war? Why do we have to go to war? Well, because there's bad guys out there. I would love there not to be any war. I would love that all the militaries would just be released and done and not have to worry about it anymore. But that's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. There's too many bad guys out there. So that's why we have to go to war. We have to. It's not because it's true. Some people want to. We don't have to. But, we don't, I'm sorry, we don't want to. We have to. It's like you're on the street, a guy comes up with a gun or a knife and says, "Give me your wallet." What are you going to do? You give it to them, or you fight them. You got one or two choices. You give it to them, or you fight them. If you can't fight, you give it to them. In war, it's the same way. It's the exact same way. You either give the bad guys what they want, or you fight them.